Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal with NVIDIA Daily Analysis. So NVIDIA went down more than 2% today. In this video, we'll discuss NVIDIA price movement for today. We'll try to evaluate if NVIDIA can make a comeback next week or it can go further down using data and correlation analysis. Now, let's get started. You see NVIDIA stock chart for today on your screen. NVIDIA opened at 120.35. It made a high of 121.60. It made a low 117.37 and it closed at 117.93. That is 2.61% down. As I said yesterday that the threat of Nvidia further going down is not over yet, and today was the test case, and I said if Nvidia is able to close positive today, then we can expect next week Nvidia can further bounce back. But it did not happen. Nvidia went down further. So this tells that Nvidia still does not have any clear direction. So uncertainty is still in the market at this point. So I guess probably early next week as well, Nvidia might show a mixed behavior. No clear direction as well. It's not only Nvidia. The overall market was down today. For example, S&P is down 0.71%, Nasdaq is down 0.81%, and Dow Jones is down 0.93%. So moving back to Nvidia, last 5 days, Nvidia is still down 9.76%, last 1 month 9.83%, and last 6 months is below 100% now. So you notice in last few weeks, Nvidia was showing more than 100% increase in last 6 months. Now for the first time, Nvidia is down less than 100% in last 6 months. And if you take a look, the weekly summary for Nvidia stock, it will look something like this. You see, weekly chart for last 1 year for Nvidia. I showed this chart to you last Friday. The last Friday, we noticed that 3 consecutive positive closing weeks. And last Friday, I had an opinion that there is a chance that Nvidia may close lower in this week. But it did more than my expectation. Such a big red candlestick, similar to this one, right? So, is there any possibility for Nvidia to go further down by the end of next week? Yes, it is. Because in here, you see that not just 1 week negative closing, 4 negative closing weeks in a row. So here we just saw one, but this is a big one, right? So maybe next week we might see a slightly small negative number here. And if you take a look SMCI, it also showed a negative closing week for this week, and that's also a big one. So after 2 consecutive positive ending weeks, and we also see negative for SMCI. But take a look for SMCI, see such a high variability. So you see the big negative closing, and then green, and then red again, and then green two, and then two greens, and then one red. So that's why I see that SMCI is a highly volatile stock compared with Nvidia and AMD. Now let's take a look forward P for Nvidia, Palantir, AMD, and SMCI and try to make some assessment. So by the end of this week, Nvidia is at 41.21 forward P, and that is much lesser than the last 6 weeks of average. The last 6 weeks of average was probably about 46.7. So Palantir is still managed to keep forward P above 80 in this week as well, much higher than the last 6 weeks of average. That was probably about 76. SMCI is at 25.52 and it's also higher than the last 6 weeks of average, and that was about 27. So SMCI below 25 forward P looks to me a very attractive buy to keep it for some time, and that translates to around 780 stock price for SMCI for forward PE below 25. Let me show you. So here I did some calculations. So that makes 780.18 at the forward P of 24.99 for SMCI. And for Nvidia, the forward P, if goes below 40, that also makes Nvidia a very attractive buy. Let's see how much stock price it gives for forward P below 40. And that translates to Nvidia stock price of 108. I'm not sure Nvidia can go down to this level in next week or so, but if it does, then 108 is a very attractive buy for Nvidia. And based on the Fibonacci levels I showed you yesterday, 112 is a very strong support for Nvidia. If Nvidia goes down around 112, so based on the technical chart, 112 is also a very good buy. Now for AMD, the forward P is at 43.68, and that is much lower than the last 6 weeks of average, and that was around 48. Now let's take a look the historical data analysis for Nvidia. So as you see from this graph, Nvidia continues to show downward momentum, and from the start of the second month after earnings till now is about 12 or 13% down. And I mentioned yesterday that's gonna make sense because that shows the similar behavior that we experienced last cycle or last quarter. Let's take a look. So this is the chart for the last quarter. As you see, it's starting from the second month after earnings till the end of the second month after earnings. Nvidia was down about 15%. You see from here, start of the second month after earnings, and here, end of the second month after earnings. So it's probably about 15% drop. So for this quarter, still we have a room to go down few more percentage for Nvidia based on the historical data analysis. You see 90-day hourly interval chart for Nvidia and also the Fibonacci levels. As I showed you yesterday, the lowest point 93.8 and the highest point is 140.56. Based on the Fibonacci levels, the next level of support is 117.18. And yesterday I mentioned that this is a strong support level, and still Nvidia is trying to break that support level since yesterday, but still it could not break it further. If 117 is broken, then the next level of support is 111.66. And I had an opinion that around 112 will be a good buy for Nvidia. And as I showed you before, I already bought Nvidia stocks early this week. Maybe I should have waited more, but I still think that Nvidia should bounce back before earnings. So the reason is, the economic situation or the financial situation has not changed yet. And this drop is most probably happening due to the China America tension regarding the chip restriction from Mr. Biden. In my opinion, this is a short term effect, and probably in next few days, the effect of this news or decision will get further diluted. Let's take a look at Bollinger Bands. You see Bollinger Bands on your screen. You see at this point, the gap between the upper band and the lower band is expanding since yesterday, and it was not the case day before yesterday. See that the gap was lower than what is showing right now. And if you can notice, this behavior from here to here is similar to this pattern. You see? So Nvidia went up, down, further down, and then it bounced back. So similar phenomena I'm expecting this time as well. Down, up, down, or maybe further down a little bit, and then a bounce back before earnings. Now let's take a look news regarding Nvidia. You see news regarding Nvidia and overall market on your screen. Starting from the top, I do not see anything significant. Let's take a look this one that says Goldman Sachs turns bearish on chip makers, advises hedge through put options. China remains a major risk for the sector. So this news kind of depressing. This tell that we are going to enter in the bearish market, but I don't think so. Maybe, as I said, in my opinion, it's a short-term effect, and market is still trying to digest, and people are not sure what to do, and they are taking profit. So moving on, let's take a look. This one that says AI chip stocks, Nvidia, AMD, Taiwan, semi saw a sell-off this week. What's going on? So if I click that one, so this tells that Taiwan Semiconductor saw its shares decline Friday despite reporting substantial second quarter profit. And the reason they are quoting is this one that says Trump questions the US obligation to defend Taiwan. So now this one that says greatest bubble nearing its peak, says Black Swan manager. So now they are claiming that this high tech or the AI stocks upside since last few months was a bubble and it's going to pop anytime soon. So this is depressing, but again, I don't think this was a bubble. And I will be more convinced if this was a bubble and we are entering in the bearish market if Nancy Pelosi starts selling. And that's one litmus test for me. So we need to also keep an eye on her transactions once she reports. I guess that's all about Nvidia news for today. Let's take a look other AI stocks. As you see on your screen, the highest negative closing today is on AMD, that is 2.69% down, and then Nvidia, that is 2.61% down, and then Avago, SoundHound, Microsoft, SMCI, Amazon, and Palantir all negative. Apple is the only one that's positive today, that is 0.06% up. And regarding the economic calendar, as I showed you yesterday, we do not see much data coming up next week. The only data that's important is a PC index that's going to be announced on Friday next week. We'll talk about more on the economic calendar sometime next week. So that's all about NVIDIA analysis and assessment for today and early next week. I hope you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more tomorrow. Take care.